I look at my hands. They are not soft. They are very hard. I see old cuts on them. My skin is dark and rough. I worked many years. I worked in Texas. I built big buildings there. The sun was very hot. My hands hurt every day. But I worked hard. I worked for her. I have a small box. The box is old. It is red inside. I see a ring. The ring is small. It has a small stone. The stone is shiny. I saved money for this ring. I worked 6 months for it. I remember one day. It was 3 years ago. I took Briona to the lake. The day was warm. The sun was nice. We sat by the water. I was scared. I opened the box. I showed her the ring. My hands moved a little. I asked her a question. Will you marry me? She looked at the ring. She cried. But she smiled too. She said yes. She said yes many times. She put her arms around me. She held me. She said something important. I will wait for you. I will wait always. We were happy that day. But we had a problem. We had no money. We wanted a wedding. But weddings cost a lot. I wanted Briona to be happy. I needed more money first. I heard about a job. The job was in Texas. Texas was very far away. The job paid good money, but the work was hard. The work was dangerous. It was 1,000 miles away. I told Briona about the job. I told her my plan. She cried again. She did not want me to go, but she understood. I held her hands. I said important words. I go to Texas. I work very hard. I save money. I build our future. I come back home later. We have a home then. We get married. We are happy. She believed me. She kissed me. She said she would wait. She said she loved me. I left home. I went to Texas. I was alone. I found a small room. The room was cheap. The room had one bed. It had one table. It had nothing else. But I did not care. I only wanted to work. I started my job. The work was very hard. The days were long. I worked from 6 to 6. Sometimes I worked more. The sun was hot. My body hurt. But I did not stop. I was very alone. I missed Briona. I thought about her. I had her photo. The photo was on my table. She smiled in it. The smile helped me. I ate cheap food. I bought old sandwiches. They were not good. But they were cheap. I saved all my money. Every month, I sent money home. I sent money to Briona. I sent $80 from 100. I kept only $20. I needed money for my room. I needed money for food. I did not buy clothes. I did not go to movies. I had no friends. I talked to nobody. I only worked. Briona called me every night. She told me about her day. She said she missed me. She said she loved me. She had good news too. She used the money well. She found a house. She paid for the house. She bought things for the house. She made our home nice. I was very happy. I was proud of her. She built our future. She waited for me. She made our home ready. I worked harder. Every night I held the box. I looked at the ring. I remembered her words. I will wait for you. The words gave me hope. The words made me strong. I worked in Texas 3 years. 3 years without her. 3 years of hard work. 3 years of money to send home. 3 years of waiting. Texas was very hot. The sun burned me. I worked outside every day. My skin hurt from the heat. I drank water all the time. But I was always thirsty. My shirt was always wet. I felt tired every day. The nights were very cold. I wore my jacket at night, but I still felt cold. My room had no heater. I lay in bed. I felt cold. I could not sleep well. I thought about home. I thought about Briona. Every day was the same. I woke up very early. I went to work. I worked all day. The sun was very hot. My body hurt a lot. My hands hurt. Sometimes they bled, but I did not stop. I needed the money. One thing made me happy. I called Briona every evening. I waited for this all day. At 6, I finished work. I went to my room. I washed my face. I washed my hands. Then I called her. Her voice made me happy. She said my name. She asked about my day. I told her about work. She listened. Then she talked. She told me about her day. She told me about home. I closed my eyes. I felt close to her. Every month I got my pay. I went to the bank. I sent most money home. I sent $80 from 100. I kept $20 only. The $20 paid for my room. It paid for my food. Nothing else. Briona was happy about the money. She called me. She thanked me many times. She told me good news. She found our house. The house was very nice. It had 3 rooms. It had a good kitchen. It had a small garden. She told me about furniture. She bought a new sofa. She bought a big bed. She bought a table. She bought chairs. She said everything was beautiful. She said our home was ready soon. She said she made our nest. I felt very happy. I felt proud. My work meant something. Every dollar built our future. Every dollar bought our dream. I built a home for us. I built a life for us. But sometimes things were different. Sometimes Briona did not answer. I called her at 6. The phone rang. Nobody answered. I waited. I called again later. She answered at 7. Or at 8. I asked her why. She always had a reason. She was at the store. She was busy. She cleaned the kitchen. She worked in the garden. I believed her. Sometimes her voice sounded tired, or her voice sounded strange, like she thought about something else. I asked if she was okay. She always said yes. She said she was just tired. She said she worked hard. I felt sad for her. She was alone at home. She did everything alone. She cleaned alone. She paid bills alone. She waited for me alone. That was very hard. That was very lonely. I trusted her completely. I never doubted her. She was my Briona. She loved me. She waited for me. She promised to wait. She built our home. She was good to me. Some nights, I could not sleep. I lay in my bed. The bed was cold. I thought about her. I thought about our future. I saw us in our new house. I saw us on the new sofa. I saw us at the new table. I saw us in the big bed. These thoughts made me warm. I worked very hard because of this. Every morning I woke up early. I went to work. I lifted heavy things. I carried big stones. I climbed high. My body hurt. My hands hurt. But I smiled. I had a dream. I had something good to work for. 3 years passed this way. 3 years of hot days. 3 years of cold nights. 3 years of hard work. 3 years of phone calls. 3 years of money to send home. 3 years of waiting. 3 years of trust. I saved every dollar. I did not buy things for myself. My clothes were old. My shoes had holes. I ate cheap food every day, but I did not care. The money was important. The money built our future. The money made Briona happy. She told me the house was ready soon. She said everything was perfect. She said she waited for me. She said we would be very happy. I believed her. I believed every word. I counted the days. Soon, I went home. Soon, I saw our house. Soon I married her. Soon we started our life. I looked at the ring every night. The small stone still shined. It waited too. It waited for her finger. It waited for our wedding. That day came soon. I just needed to work more. I just needed to wait more. One day, my boss called me. He had good news. The project finished early. We finished all the work. I could go home now. I did not need to wait more. I felt so happy. I could not believe it. I could go home to Briona. I could see her soon. I could hold her soon. 3 years of waiting was over. I thought about calling her, but then I stopped. I had a better idea. I wanted to surprise her. I wanted to see her face. I wanted to see her smile. I did not call her. I went to the flower shop. I looked at all the flowers. I saw white lilies. Lilies were her favorite flowers. She loved white lilies. I bought a big bunch. The flowers smelled very nice. They were very beautiful. I went to the airport. I bought a ticket. The flight was at night. I waited at the airport. I felt so excited. My heart beat very fast. I could not sit still. I walked around. I looked at my watch many times. Finally, my flight came. I got on the plane. I sat in my seat. The plane took off. I looked out the window. I saw the lights below. I thought about Briona. I thought about our house. I thought about our future. I could not sleep on the plane. I was too excited. I imagined many things. I saw Briona opening the door. I saw her eyes get big. I saw her scream with joy. I saw her jump into my arms. I saw her cry happy tears. I saw her kiss me many times. The flight was very long, but finally we landed. I got off the plane. I took my small bag. I held the white lilies. I walked very fast. I wanted to get home quickly. I got a taxi outside. I told the driver the address. The driver started driving. I sat in the back. I looked at the flowers. I looked out the window. Everything looked the same, but everything felt different. I was going home. The taxi drove through the city. Then we went to the suburbs. I saw familiar streets. I saw familiar houses. My heart beat faster and faster. We were very close now. Then I saw it. I saw our house. The house Briona bought with my money. The house we dreamed about. It was a nice house. It was white with a small garden. I felt so proud. I looked at the windows. One light was on. The kitchen light was on. I looked at my watch. It was almost 10 at night. I smiled to myself. She was still awake. She waited for my call. She always waited for my call at night. I paid the taxi driver. I got out. I stood on the street. I looked at the house, my house, our house. I held the white lilies. I walked slowly to the door. My heart beat very loud. I heard it in my ears. I reached the door. I still had my old key. The key was on my keychain. I took it out. My hand shook a little. I was so excited. I was so happy. I put the key in the lock. I turned it very slowly. The door opened. I did not make noise. I wanted to surprise her. I pushed the door open very slowly. It did not make a sound. I walked inside. I closed the door behind me. I did it very softly. I stood in the dark hallway. My heart beat very fast. It beat so loud, I could hear nothing else. I looked around. The house was dark, but I saw light from the kitchen. I heard something. I heard a sound. It was her voice. Briona was talking. She was in the kitchen. I smiled. I held the flowers. I walked very slowly. I did not want her to hear me. I wanted to surprise her. I walked toward the kitchen. I walked very quietly. My heart was full of joy. Finally, I was home. Finally, I would see her. Finally, I would hold her. 3 long years of waiting was over. Our new life started now. I took one more step. I moved closer to the kitchen. I heard her voice more clearly now. She talked to someone. She must be on the phone. I stopped walking. I listened. I heard her laugh. The sound came from the kitchen. She laughed very loud. She sounded very happy. I never heard this laugh on the phone, not in 3 years. I stopped. I did not move. I stood behind the wall. She did not see me, but I heard her. She talked to someone. She was on the phone. The phone was loud. I heard everything. Then I heard her words. "Wait a minute, honey," she said. "I cook dinner now. I cook for my husband. He comes home in 10 minutes. I made pasta for him." I stood very still. My heart hurt. She said husband, but I was here. I came home. I stood 5 meters away. I had flowers for her. Then I heard a man. His voice came from the phone. "Okay, wifey," the man said. "I come soon." 5 minutes. "I am hungry," he said, wifey. He called her wifey. I knew his voice. That was Julian, her old boyfriend. She told me about him before. She said she did not see him now. She said it was finished. But he was here, on her phone. He called her wifey. He came home here. He ate dinner here. I looked around the room. I saw photos on the wall. I walked closer. Briona was in the photos. But I was not in the photos. A man was with her. Julian was with her. They smiled. They looked happy. I looked for my photo. There was no photo of me. Not one. I was not here. Briona laughed again. She talked to Julian. She sounded very happy. She never sounded like this with me. I looked at the flowers in my hands. The white lilies. They looked wrong now. The money. I sent money every month. For 3 years. She said it was for our house. But this was not our house. This was her house with Julian. Julian lived here. Julian slept here. I paid for everything. I paid for the bed. I paid for the table. I paid for the house. I worked 3 years. Hot days, cold nights, cheap food, old clothes. I saved money. I sent money. For this. For them. She called him husband. She cooked for him. She loved him. I heard a car outside. A door closed. Steps came to the house. Julian was here. I stood in the dark. I held the flowers. My hands were rough. My hands had scars. I worked hard for 3 years. I worked for nothing. My heart hurt very much. I felt cold. My hands shook. I did not move. I just stood there. I looked around the room. I saw a new sofa. It was red. I paid for it. I saw a big TV. I paid for that too. I saw many photos. Photos on the wall. Photos on the table. All photos showed Briona and Julian. They smiled in the photos. One photo was from the beach. One photo was from a restaurant. One photo was in this room. I looked for my photo. I looked everywhere. There was no photo of me. Not one. I walked slowly. I looked at the table. It was new. I looked at the chairs. They were new. I looked at the lamp. It was new. I sent money for these things, but they were not for me. They were for Julian. Briona talked in the kitchen. She laughed. I heard her happy voice. My heart hurt. I thought about Julian. He was her old boyfriend. He had no job. He had no money. But he lived here now. He ate here. He slept here. My money paid for everything. My money paid for this house. My money paid for the food. My money paid for him. I felt very sad. I did not want to scream. I did not want to shout. I just felt bad. Very bad. My heart was heavy. I took out the small box, the red box. I opened it. I looked at the ring, the small ring with the stone. I worked 6 months for this ring. The ring looked small. It looked cheap now. I thought about my 3 years. 3 years in Texas. Hot days, cold nights, hard work, cheap food, no friends, always alone. I saved money. I sent money home. Every month. I sent money for this house. For Julian. For Brianna and Julian. Not for me. Never for me. She called Julian husband. He was her husband, not me. I was the man who sent money. The man far away. The man who worked. The man who paid. She loved Julian. She did not love me. She needed money. I gave her money. Every month, I closed the box. I put it in my pocket. I touched the flowers, the white lilies. I bought them for her. The front door opened. Julian came in. Brianna, I am home, he said. In the kitchen, honey, she said. She sounded very happy. I heard his steps. He walked to the kitchen. They talked, they laughed, they kissed. I stood in the dark room. I listened. Their voices were happy. This was their house. I paid for it, but it was never my house. I looked at the sofa again. I looked at the TV. I looked at the table. I looked at the photos. Everything here was new. Everything here was nice. I paid for all of it. But nothing here was mine. Not one thing. Not one photo. Nothing. I heard them talk more. I heard them laugh more. They sounded so happy together. I felt very tired. My body was heavy. My heart was heavy. I wanted to leave. I needed to leave. There was nothing here for me. This was not my home. This was their home. Brianna and Julian's home. I worked 3 years for this, but it was not for me. It was never for me. I stood there. I held the flowers. My hands were rough. My hands were hard. I worked so much, for 3 years, but it did not matter. None of it mattered. I heard Brianna laugh again. Her laugh was so happy. She was happy with Julian. Not with me. Never with me. I looked at the front door. I needed to go. I needed to walk out. I needed to leave this place. My pocket had the ring. The small ring. The ring I worked for. The ring I saved for. But she did not need it. She had Julian. She had her husband. Her real husband. I was just the man who sent money. For 3 years. That was all. Nothing more. I looked around one more time. The red sofa. The big TV. The new table. The photos of them. Everything was here because of me. Because of my work. Because of my money. But I was not here. I did not exist here. There was no place for me. I took a step. I walked to the door, very slowly, very quietly. They did not hear me. They were in the kitchen. They were happy. I reached the door. I put my hand on it. I was ready to leave. I looked at the flowers in my hand, the white lilies. I walked to the sofa. I put the flowers down on the sofa, very slowly, very gently. I took out the small box, the red box. I opened it. I took out the ring. The small diamond ring. I held it in my hand. I walked to the table, the wooden table near the door. I put the ring down on the table. Right in the middle, the small ring sat there, all alone. I looked at the ring one more time. Then I turned around. I walked to the door. I opened it slowly. I did not make noise. I walked out. I closed the door behind me, very softly, very quietly. I stood outside. I felt something wet. Rain. It started to rain. Small drops at first, then more rain. The rain fell on my head. It fell on my face. It fell on my old jacket. I did not move. I just stood there. The rain made me wet, but I did not care. Then I saw lights. A car came down the street. The car turned. It came to the house. My house. No, not my house. Their house. The car stopped. A man got out. He had a bottle in his hand. Wine. He smiled. He walked to the door. The door opened. Briona came out. She ran to him. She put her arms around him. She hugged him. She was very happy. Husband, she said. She said it loud. She said it happy. You are home. She called him husband. Julian was her husband, not me. Never me. I stood there in the rain. I watched them. They went inside together. They closed the door. The light from the kitchen was warm. They were inside, together, happy. I stood in the cold rain, outside, alone, not happy. I turned around. I walked away. I walked down the street. The rain fell harder now. My clothes were very wet. My hair was wet. But I kept walking. I reached the end of the street. I took out my phone. I called a taxi. The taxi came fast. I got in. Where do you go? The driver asked. The airport, I said. The taxi drove away. I looked back one time. I saw the house. The lights were on. They were inside, warm, together. I left no note. I did not call her. I did not say goodbye. There was nothing to say. She had her husband. She had Julian. She had the house. She had everything she wanted. And me? I had nothing. I worked 3 years for nothing. The taxi drove through the rain. I looked out the window. I saw the streets. I saw the lights. Everything looked far away. I thought about the ring on the table, the small ring. She would find it soon. Maybe she would understand. Maybe she would not care. I thought about the white lilies on the sofa, her favorite flowers. She would see them. Maybe she would feel bad. Maybe she would not. But I did not think she would run after me. I did not think she would call me. She had what she wanted. She had Julian, her real husband. I was just the man who sent money. For 3 years, that was all. The taxi drove faster. The rain fell harder. I closed my eyes. I was very tired. My body was tired. My heart was tired. 3 years of work. 3 years of hope. 3 years of love. All gone now. All finished. I opened my eyes. I looked ahead. The road was long. The night was dark. But I kept going. Away from that house. Away from her. Away from everything. I had nothing now. No house. No wife. No dream. Just my old bag. And my rough hands. And my tired heart. But I was free now. Free from the lies. Free from the weight. Free from the hope that was never real. The taxi drove on through the rain. I sat in the back. Quiet. Alone. Going away. Thank you for giving this story your time. If you connected with the characters or learned something new, please leave a like. Share this story with someone who enjoys English stories or peaceful listening. And remember to subscribe to Teddy English Story. It costs nothing, but it helps the channel continue. Turn on the bell so you'll know when the next story arrives. We'll be here, waiting for you.